Okay, I think we can start now. Good evening again, everyone. Welcome us to this training tonight, fundamentals of masters and PhD research. And I believe everybody here can hear me clearly. Okay, I believe so. I think I will receive some facts. Um, sorry, I'm actually recording this class for those people that might not join us early. I believe they will join us later because I'm looking at 58 people on this Zoom class now, and we are more than that on the page. All right. So I've tried as much as possible to wait for people, but I think I will not be waiting again. I don't know, or do you think I should wait? All right, so we'll just start. I believe those people on this platform tonight are people that are ready to embark on their masters, or they are currently on their masters or PhD thesis. Okay. Because some things I'll be saying tonight, um, basically will be for those people that in this kind of area. So if you are not in this area or you are not planning to be in this area of masters or PhD research, this might not be your class, or you are just trying to gain the knowledge. Are you with me? Because since this flyer has gone out, I've seen people chatting me up on how the training will be the training will it be from beginners to the advanced. This class tonight is basically fundamentals of masters and PhD research. Fundamentals, critical things that we need to put in place, critical things that we need to know if you want to have a successful research as a postgraduate student. All right, I've encountered a lot of students in my 9 years in the field of research. Okay, and different problem different signs of problem they are showing when they came to me, and I wonder what they went through in the undergraduates when they are doing their projects. Because something that you have, if you have mastered some things from your undergraduate, it will be easy for you to bring it to your master's or PhD research. But if you not master them from undergraduate, you're going to have problem when you are doing your master's or when you are doing your PhD. You understand? So this class tonight is like for some people, it will be from beginners class for them. For some, it will be like refreshing their memory, the things that they need to master. Are you with me? And for some, it's just for fun. All right. But I will try as much as possible to go from basic for some of us. All right. But don't let us lose the sight of the training. It's fundamentals of masters and PhD research. Are you with me? I am Mr. David Adewi. I'm the founder of Grace and Research Institute. All right. So what we do with me basically is research and data analysis. Is what we do with the most. And a lot of people here that are connecting now, you've done my trainings in the past, both paid and free class like this. Okay. So God bless us for coming again tonight to partake in this training. And if you are new here, I welcome you. This is your first time of partaking in our training. I believe that after this training, you are going to be blessed. Okay. So let's start. Now, what is research itself? Okay, what is research itself? Because if you don't understand research, you will not able to go to the fundamental parts of it. Now, I said research in the academic line refers to the systematic investigation and study of a subject or phenomenon to discover new knowledge, insight, and understanding. I need to say this. Tonight class is basically lectures. I think I've said that on the page. Tomorrow will be the practical sessions. And tomorrow is going to be far more interesting than tonight. But tonight will also be great. You understand? But I need to lay this foundation tonight for us. So that by the time we are doing the practical sessions tomorrow, it will be easy for everybody to follow through. All right. So that's why we're having a lecture tonight. So research in the academic line. Now, research can be in how would I say organizational setting and can also be in the academic line. But since we are dealing with the masters and PhD, it means that the definition should come from what? The academic line. Okay, so it refers to systematic investigation and study of a subject or phenomenon to discover new knowledge, insight, and understanding. Remember this definition, new knowledge. We are still going to come to it. New knowledge, new insight, the new understanding. Now look at the process. It involves the collection, analysis of data, interpretation of findings, dissemination of results to contribute to the existing body of knowledge. So if you want to call yourself a researcher, are you with me? You should not just be a writer alone. In fact, if you look at this process, writing is not there. He said it involves the collection and analysis of data. So if you actually want to call yourself a researcher, you must also master data analysis. They go together. Are you with me? So he said interpretations of findings, dissemination of results to contribute to the existing body of knowledge. Now, research definitions. So research divisions. Okay, the first is writing a proposal. If you want to embark on a master or PhD research, your proposal must be sound. I did a training on proposal writing recently. I think maybe in was it in May or June? Okay. It's a very serious training. Proposal writing. Your proposal must be very, very convincing as you embark on your research as a PhD person or a master student. All right. So it's very important we know that. The next is what? Conducting literature review. If you can't conduct a thorough literature review, you are going to have a problem in your research. And you know what? A lot of people don't even understand literature review. They don't have to conduct a systematic literature review. Okay? And you know, literature review is a critical part when you are writing your thesis. In fact, I tell people, I say, if you want to increase the number of pages of your paper, of your thesis, you can only do it majorly from a literature review. So if you can't conduct a thorough literature review, it will be very difficult for you to do a good research. Okay, there's a lot of things that is tied to literature review. A lot of things. Gap in literature, statement of problem, all right, research findings, they are all tied to literature review. So it's very good we master that. The next is what? Research methodology. This is division of research. If you say research, this is division. Research methodology. For this methodology is a course on its own in some schools. It's very elaborate. Research methodology. You understand? This is where you tell us the type of research you are doing. Are you doing qualitative? Are you doing quantitative? Are you doing mixed method? Are you doing the experimental? All right. Are you doing cross study? Different kind of research methodology we have. Different kind. And then this is where we talk about population sampling technique, data analysis technique, data collection method, a lot of things. So if your research methodology understanding is not sound, you are going to have a problem. All right. Next is data collection. Of course, we all know that. How you want to collect your data. Data analysis and interpretation. Then conclusion. The reason why conclusion is there as part of research division is that a lot of people have done research and they do know how to conclude. By the time you are doing defense, and I say, okay, based on everything that you've done on this research, can you summarize your work in 2 sentences? We see PhD students just looking, they can't summarize their work in 2 sentences. I don't know if you are getting what I'm trying to say. You've done a thorough analysis, you've done a thorough interpretation. Okay, conclude. All right. Let us make a decision from your research. You know what? There is no basis for your research if you can't make a decision from your paper. Are you with me? And this thing starts from when a PhD student or a master's student does not even understand his or her own research. You don't even understand the analysis that was done for you. So how do you want to give us a good conclusion? So it's very important that we note this division. And if there's any area that you know that you are lacking, you go for a training in that area to equip yourself. All right. So let's continue. Sorry, I'm coming. Coming. So can you see my screen? Everybody can see my screen right now. All right. So relevance of research. Expose the truth or fact about the area of study. Provide relevant solution for implementation. Validate and invalidate relevant existing theories. Provide new frontiers of knowledge. We must put this in our mind as you are embarking on your research. All right, we are gradually moving into deeper waters in our class tonight. Research process. Okay, research process. Now, some things I will be discussing with us tonight. I believe that it will bring insight to bring our mind into some things, to take our mind to some things that if you have to change your topic and you are just starting your research, go and change the topic. If you have to do another lecture review of your research, go and do it. Okay, unless if you've gone so deep in your research. Because sometimes when truth comes, when knowledge comes, it shines more light into what we are doing. And then some of us will have to take some drastic steps. Because I believe that anybody doing masters or doing PhD, you have a passion in academics. You want to go far. And your thesis is one way to do that. Now, I was telling somebody recently, I said there's no purpose you doing a thesis, a PhD thesis, and you can't publish it. There's no purpose you doing a PhD thesis that is not relevant in your field. That after you've done the research, you spent so much money, you've done everything. It was rubbish at the end of the day. Can't do anything with it. Because you didn't solve any singular problem. And there's no problem. You just wasted your school fees, you wasted the time, you wasted everybody's energy. So let's move further. Research process. Identification of the problem or challenge. Anytime I'm doing a research training for people, I tell them this is a major factor. Identification of the problem or challenge. Are you with me? If you are from healthcare and you want to do a research, maybe public health or something, You identify a problem in your mind. I want to deal with this problem here in this field. Okay, so how will I bring up a topic related to this problem? I don't believe a PhD person should embark on a research that you yourself, you don't have a problem in mind. So the next one is what? Choice of topic consequent upon identification of problem. So your topic selection should come after you've identified a problem. I hope I'm making sense. Because there's no basis for you doing a research if it's not solving a problem. I mean, they call you, the fact that you must have this insight, you must have this, how will I say it now? You must be futuristic. What if you finish your PhD research and you are called to come and present your paper? One of the things that they want to see is that this your paper is solving a significant problem, all right, either in your country or in the world or in your field. So don't ever embark on any research as a postgraduate student that you don't have a problem in mind. A significant problem. So you choose a choice of topic consequently upon having a problem. After that, what? Doing a literature review, formulation of hypothesis, development of good methodology, research design, population, sample determination, data, nature and sources, data collection instruments, collection instruments, models, all these things are under methodology. Then after that, estimating research costs, providing work schedule. You know what? Everything I'm discussing here currently now should be done before you start writing. You must have stabilized some things out. Have a structure, maybe on your phone or on paper or something, draft it out. So you know what you are doing. You don't embark on a PhD or master research without not knowing what you want to do. That you now get to the middle of the road. You are now going back. You are now changing topic. No. You will know from the onset that you can't afford this research. When people come to me and say, please, sir, I want to do a mixed study research. I said, do you understand what mixed study is? Mixed study is both quantitative and qualitative. Do you understand what it is? So I asked, what's your time frame? I have 3 months. I said, sorry, you can't do a mixed study. You can't do a mixed study in 3 months. People do mixed study 1 year, they are still on it. Unless if you don't want to collect data. Are you with me? So this part of estimation of research cost is very, very important. If you know you can't afford this, so go for a topic that you can afford. There's no point you getting to research methodology, you are now stranded. Unless if your supervisor is very adamant. But most of the time, supervisor will say, tell the student, bring your topic. Give me 3 topics and justify the 3 topics. So you are the one actually selecting the topic, you are not selecting the process. So after that, after you examine the course, you go for conducting the research, collecting data as necessary. Are you with me? You see, one of the things when you are selecting your topic is what? Is what I actually call it a name. Case study. You cannot select a topic and say you want to choose Southwest. Of course you can. I'm not saying you cannot. You can actually do that if you have the time and you have the resources. If you don't have, then pick location that you can easily address. All right, pick location that you can easily address. Some of the things that you must understand when we are doing masters and PhD research is that your data collection will be serious. One of my friends collected data for, I think, 1,000 and something participants, respondents. He spent close to 1 year collecting that data. He spent another 1 year inputting the data. I'm telling you. The questionnaire was close to 8 pages or 8 to 10 pages. It's my field. So he spent close to 1 year in inputting the data. They analyze. It's a PhD research. But you know what? He picked a location that he can easily get the participant. Despite that, it was close to 1,000 participants, but at least was able to get the participant. He's not looking for them up and down. So from when you are picking your topics and you are tracing this out, have some understanding in mind. My data collection. Where will I collect my data? Who are my respondents? Can I access them? So it's very important. Then next was carrying out the analysis. If you are just starting your research, go and learn analysis so that you do it yourself. Even if you are not doing it yourself, still learn it. So that by the time you give it out and the analysis was done and was sent back to you, you can correct it before sending to your supervisor. It's very funny. You're a PhD student, you're a master student. Someone did analysis for you. You just went like that and you submit it to your supervisor like that. You ask the person, please, can you explain to me? I do the explanation. I use voice notes. After I've done the analysis for people, I'll send you a voice note. I will explain everything in details to you. But you to please read this analysis, read the interpretation, you understand it. And I will tell you this in case your supervisor asks you a question, this is what to answer. This is, it's easier for me to do that for somebody that have done the training. The funny thing is that you are the one that will defend this thing. The knowledge matters a lot. That knowledge matters a lot. You must understand you can't be a researcher or you can't be a master student or PhD student and you don't understand the analysis. It should not be held. All right. So carrying out the analysis, which includes hypothesis testing. The next is what? Doing the report writing. We write now. I wrote report writing here, but you know what? That should be around your chapter 4, your interpretation. Even if you're in sciences, you should understand the analysis. The only people that don't do the analysis are people that write long essays. Law students, history, English students, you understand? Every other person does analysis. So the analysis in your field, understand it. So being student research defense where appropriate. This was put there because not all departments do defense. So this is a serious research process. Are you with me? All right, let's go further. So chapter 1, introduction. Sorry, leave out that 3.1. Chapter 1, introduction. Now I want to show us the format. I don't know. Please don't let us type or write. I'm seeing some lines. Those affects. All right, thank you. So, chapter 1, introduction. These are formats. One thing you must we are dealing with fundamentals, right? Fundamentals of masters and PhD research. One of them is formats. Format is very important. Every field has their format, and that's what I'll discuss with us now. Every field has their format. From chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Now, it goes up far more than field. Local and international universities have different formats. So it's very important before you start writing, before you start your research, get your format right. In fact, you know what? Your correction will start from format. Format like references and citations. All right. The list of the subtopics. The number of pages expected. You know, I tell some people, I say, if you are doing master and PhD research, most of the time, the list of pages expected from you is around 300, 350. To say shouted. I say, you go and ask your, how do I say it now? Your mates or people ahead of you. Ask them how many pages are they writing for their masters. Sorry, for their PhDs. So you must know what, the work you have in your front. You want to read 300 pages in your masters. You must know how to do literature review. You must know how to write a good proposal. You must know something that you have to do for you to achieve that level. So if you have that information from beginning, you can, you can put some things together, knowing that you have a target of 300 or 350. Most of the time, when people say that in my school or my department, our PhD is around 400 pages, 350 pages, 200 pages. Of course, I told you we are going to pay the money. I mean, you are going to pay the money. But if you have those kind of number of pages, plagiarism reduction will also be tedious. Writing will be tedious. A lot of things will be tedious. But you know what? Since we have that knowledge, it means that your chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 will be close to 150 pages or close to 200 pages. Are you with me? You are going to around 350 pages for a PhD. You must understand this. So some people put it in what count? They will say 70,000 words. Somebody contacted me and said in his own school is 80,000 words. Now, if I did not ask him, he will not tell me. Say 80,000 words. So we have to divide it to 8,000 words. How many pages? Close to 400 pages. So it means that chapter 1 to 3 must be around 250 pages. If you want to achieve 400 pages. Okay? Meaning only chapter 2 must be more than 100 pages. Because chapter 1 maximum is around 20 pages. Maximum. That's introduction, it's not always plenty. All right. Chapter 3 too, there's you can't write too much on it. Maximum 10 pages, 15 pages. That's if you have a lot of things to write. Most people chapter 3 is like 5 or 7 pages. But you have a lot to write, maybe 10 pages maximum. That's that many pages. Submit your chapter 2, your lecture review. But be serious. I've written 120 pages lecture review before. Because we want to reach some maximum level of word count or number of pages. You understand? And then your chapter 4 must be close to 70 pages. Now, if you want to have a chapter 4 of 70 pages, it means that your objective must be around 10 objective. And you must have around 7 to 8 hypotheses. Because in the world of data analysis, the more the objective, the more the tables, you understand? The more the interpretation, the more the number of pages. You understand? As you're having more objective, you're having increased number of pages. And because you know that you want to achieve this social number of pages, you are going to develop a questionnaire that is not just 2 pages. That questionnaire will be close to 7 to 8 pages. Because the more the variables in your questionnaire, the more the tables you are going to have in your chapter 4. The more the analysis, the more the interpretation, the more the discussion results. It goes like that. So you are not the person that will be having 4 objectives. We are still dealing with format here, which is a major part of fundamentals of master's and PhD research. So if you don't understand your format, you are going to have problem a serious one later on. I've seen people, somebody contacted me and he said, I think early this year, he said, I'm done with my research, but my sponsor said I should go and add to it. I said, I don't understand. He said, I think our research was around 78 pages when she finished. The sponsor is asking for 200 pages. Ah, I mean, she's done already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. And she wanted to submit. I said, no, no, no. You're just go. Are you guys not communicating before? I mean, when you're submitting chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, was she not saying it? So now she needs to increase it 200 pages. It's a problem. It's a problem. So let's go. Chapter 1, introduction. The first one is what? Background of the study, statement of the problem, research questions, objectives of the study, hypothesis of the study, scope of the research, significance of the research, operational definition of terms, limitation of the study. You understand? Now, if you are dealing with at the international level, you will have chapterization. The chapterization, some will have methodology under this chapter 1. Okay, so it's very important that we understand this format. And you must know how to write all these things. So research is not just you going to field. You must know how to write. I did a training recently on academic writing. People that took part in my writing and publishing of journals recently that just ended, I took them a class from beginning, academic writing. You must know how to write academically. Are you with me? So this chapter 1. Chapter 2, review of literatures, conceptual framework, contextual framework, theoretical review, theoretical framework. All right. Empirical review, review, summary, knowledge gap. No, I said, now all these formats are giving us these are general formats. Okay. There's a mistake in the 2.1 and 2.2. 2.1 ought to be conceptual review, while 2.2 should be conceptual framework. 2.3 theoretical review, 2.4 theoretical framework. So what I'm saying in essence is this. Make sure you understand the format in your school. It's very key. And when you are doing a master and PhD research, most of the time you have all these things present. You must do conceptual review. You must know how to do that. You must do conceptual framework. Do empirical review. Do theoretical review. You might not do theoretical framework, but you must have theories. That's theoretical review. Empirical review is very important. If you don't know how to do all these things, don't gamble. Go for the training. All right. I don't know how much people want to use for training. That's all I say now. You want to waste time. You want to pay another school fees. Chapter 3, methodology. That's research designs, research onions. Now, in the local setting in Nigeria, in Ghana, all these people, research onions is not always in our format. But when you get to international level, research onions is there. That's why you have research philosophies. All right, we have inductive, deductive section. We have research strategies. Those are all under research onions. Okay, so research designs, research onions, population and sample determination. This population is tied to your case study. And there's a way to determine your sample size determination. We have formulas. In fact, I will say this, if you are doing master and PhD, and you're not using formulas to determine your sample size, you are wrong. Another way you can determine your sample size is through sampling technique. Can use sampling technique to determine sample size. But that is when, how would I say that there is no more way out in using a formula. The best you can use is use a formula to determine your sample size. And that's why you must understand research methodology. I did a training in the past too also on sample size calculation. No, on research methodology actually. And I dealt with sample size calculation. How do you calculate sample size? When you have comparing when you are comparing two variables together in your topic, there is a formula for it. When you are dealing with equivalence, there's a formula for it. Are you with me? So we have sources of data, we have techniques of analysis. You see, these sources of data make me remember something that should tell us. When you are dealing with quantitative research, you have primary data, you have secondary data. So you can either do primary research or secondary research. Please don't mix them together. That's why the knowledge of research is very, very important. I will always use this as an example. In June, somebody came to me in June and he said, my supervisor said I should use a secondary data research for this topic. Please, can you help me out on the data set? Now, he has not, yeah, I think he has started writing then. I said, okay, let me see your topic. The topic was knowledge and perception on something. Examine the knowledge and perception on, on. So I look at the topic. I said, are you sure you're going to use secondary data? I said, yes, my friend said, use secondary data. I said, sir, you cannot use secondary data for this topic. I said, quote me anywhere. Are you with me? I've been in this field for close to 9 years. Quote me anywhere. You cannot use secondary data for this kind of topic. So he was talking to me as if somebody that understand research. That's the way he started talking to me. That you understand research very well, you understand. So I too was okay, all right, let me hear what you want to say. So he said, do you mean it? Please, can you clarify? Please, can you explain to me? I said, well, so I explained to him. This is the reason, this is the reason why you can't have a secondary data. She said, oh, I now understand what you are saying. I'll be my supervisor tomorrow morning and explain to her. So after he met supervisor, they changed the research to a primary data. So he needs to design a questionnaire now for the objective he has. Yeah, right. So it's very important that we understand the differences in all these things. Secondary data, primary data, qualitative, quantitative, mixed method, experimental, cross. There are so many. Systematic review. All right. So after that, you go to what? Chapter 4, data presentation and analysis. I've mentioned a lot of things in research since we started this training. I've mentioned a lot of things. Now, we have to presentation, data analysis, interpretation, discussion of results. You see, this discussion of results is compulsory. Don't let anybody deceive you. If your work does not have discussion of results, it will not be accepted. You're not doing undergraduate research. Discussion of results is very, very, very important. And you must know how to do it. And you know what? If you want to enjoy discussion of results, if you want to quickly do your discussion of results, that you don't want to have a problem, it starts from you selecting the right objective. Some people just sit down and just select objective. This thing, they relate. They relate. And some people just write a review anyhow. All these things, you are going to meet it in front. So if you want to do a thorough discussion of results, you must get your objective from journals. Whatever say, your objective must be linked to journals. And you must do empirical literature review. Remember what I'm saying? I said empirical literature review. You must do it for each objective in your chapter 2. If you do not do empirical literature review, you are going to have a significant problem. Well, remember what I'm saying? I said a significant problem is a problem that for you to solve it, it take time. I call it significant problem when it gets to discussion of results. Now, not just that, you must select the questions in your questionnaire from literature if you want to enjoy doing discussion of results. So don't just sit down and just start selecting questions for your questionnaire. You are going to have a problem on that discussion of results. And this discussion of results, is as important as the analysis. It means that you'll be stuck in chapter 4. Telling you. Especially if you are not doing a research that is last 300 pages. It means that if you have a very good empirical review, your discussion results will make sense. You like maybe 10 pages. So it's very important. Now, I said notes. The analysis should be arranged based on objective and hypothesis. Remember, these are our lectures. Today's our lecture, tomorrow is our practical session. The analysis should be arranged based on what? Objectives and hypothesis. Don't just do analysis. Don't just write your chapter 4 anyhow. Follow a guide. So that anybody seeing your chapter 4, going through analysis, will understand each table. Because it's answering objectives from one after the other. Chapter 5, summary of findings, conclusion, and recommendation. This chapter 5. So I'll quickly take us how to write a chapter 1 tonight. Just rush us through some things. Okay, I think by now we've had some basic knowledge in the fundamentals of masters and PhD research. All right. But I'll show us some things tonight before we round off. Okay, if you have questions, please, you can forward it to the chat group. I will answer them once we are done. Yeah, the recording will be shared, sir. The recording will be shared. Please, after this, can you share the slides? Yeah, it will be shared too. All right. So what's the empirical review? Okay, empirical review basically is okay, let me just do it practical. Let me just use practical explanation for us. If I'm doing my research now, I'm doing my master research now, and then I finished it, I published it. Okay. Now, you selected a topic that is related to my research. Not exactly my topic, but your topic is related to my research. All right. Now, my analysis, the analysis I ran for my research, and the discussion of results will be your own empirical review in your chapter 2. Because my work is similar to what you are doing. So if you are saying what is empirical review? Empirical review is basically the analysis section, or let me say the interpretation of analysis of journals. You linking them together, you have your empirical review. So you have, according to David, who researched on effect of COVID-19 on global instability, something like that. Concluded that this, full stop. This collaborate with Shola's finding, who also researched on effect of COVID-19 on global economy. He concluded that, or you can say that his analysis was based in so. You understand? And then his findings showed this. Full stop. According to another person in China who research on, you understand? So you start linking them together and you do it objective by objective. So the result of a paper is your own empirical review. So that is that. All right, so let's go to brief description of chapter 1. Now, when I'm doing my research class, I tell them, pay attention. The reason why a lot of people find it difficult to write because nobody has given you a format to write. There's a format. Yeah, the format. I'm not talking about this format. Oh. No, I'm talking about format in writing. Says that how do you write this paragraph? There is what? There is a format. I tell people, just follow this format. Once you follow this format, you know how to use journal. You know how to use journals. You know how to write. So look at it now. Introduction, the background to the story. There's a mistake there. Now I said this essentially serves to provide the background environment to the problem. That is the particular circumstances surrounding the problem. Without actually going into giving very elaborate details or the entire history of the relevant area concerned. It should therefore focus on the issues, circumstances surrounding the leucoma, research gap, knowledge gap, or challenges. That's just saying what everything should focus on. But there's a particular way of you writing. This is an important section of research work because it serves as a springboard to the entire exercise. At this stage and at the time of actual conducting research, in this way, it set the tone for the research proposal and actual research. I'm coming, I'm not saying what I wrote it. Sorry, I'm coming. Okay, the actual research when conducted and the report writing. So that's what was there. I was not saying it. All right, the videos will be shared. Don't worry, sir. Okay. So when I'm dealing with my research class, I tell them how to write chapter 1, how to write a background on the study. How do you start? You understand? Do you start from dependent variable? Do you start from independent variable? How do you even recognize your dependent and independent variable when you are starting? What should you write in your first paragraph? What should you write in your second paragraph? What should you write in your third paragraph? If you have somebody giving you that kind of knowledge, that kind of step-by-step process, it will be easy for you to write your background study. It's easy for you to start your academic writing. But you know what? When you ask to go and bring your chapter 1, say, please, where will I start from? How will I write it? How will I write the first paragraph? But nobody's actually giving you the step by step. And that's what training does for you. So now, statement of the problem. As the name implies, this elaborates the problem that should necessitate the study in the first instance. Now, I told us, you should not embark on a research if you don't have a problem. This area is very important, as without the extent of your problem or challenge, a study should not be conducted at all. So have a problem in mind. A problem review, knowledge gap, or lacuna that has to be bridged or analyzed through research. The knowledge gap may manifest in the form of conceptual distortions, theoretical divergences, empirical contradiction, methodological deficiencies, data inconsistencies, or mutation in or irrelevances, flawed conclusions, persistent challenges, unupdated research on unupdated research works, lacking in currency of scope, inadequate geographical coverage. You can get your research gap from a lot of areas. Now, some might say, what do you mean by research gap? Research gap is the difference of what you have done or what you are trying to do and what others have done. You can't be doing what others have done in your research. You have to do something slightly different or totally different. That is research gap. And research gap is linked to your problem. Are you with me? It's linked to your problem. In fact, I tell people, I said, when you are selecting your topic, you must have conducted a thorough literature review so that you can know the research gap. Everybody is working on, people have worked, there's no topic that people have not worked on. They've done something on that topic before. And you are trying to do something related to that topic. What extra thing are you bringing in? It can be either on methodology that people have done this research in Nigeria. You are trying to conduct it in UK. So it means that the location is the difference. Now, the participant might be the difference. People have done this kind of research usually on students. You want to do the research on professionals or civil servants. That means the gap is coming from the participant. And the participant can actually be the case study. Or you can actually deal with a problem itself. I shall use this example, effect of COVID-19 on economy. People have written on that topic, and they are still writing on that topic. But you can wake up and you want to write on that topic. Now, what will you do? You can deal with inflation. Are you with me? The same topic, but you are writing in the context of inflation. Some people can write in the context of what? Of cashless policy. Some people can write in the context of how would I say it now? The way people are living after COVID-19. The spike and the increase in the exchange rate. I hope I'm making sense. The same topic, but different problems. In fact, you can do the same topic and then you can now select a sector, educational sector, health sector. You can now see you are doing the same topic, but you are selecting sector. So that's your research gap. Now, in that sector, you now find a problem in that sector. Are you with me? So your statement of problem is very, very important. And please, when you are writing this your statement of problem, don't write advantage or disadvantage. Write on the problem. State the problem. Let us know the problem, and then you expand it. You write on the problem. Say a problem is normally associated with conditions that define its existence. This includes the environmental in which the problem prevails, like Nigeria. If it's X sector you are dealing with, so the problem is in X sector. All right, if it's a country, the problem is in this country. So the environment of the problem. Such an environment has its own defining characteristics. Number two, the variables within the environment or setting that are associated with the problem. You understand? You are dealing with health sector now. That's the environment. The problem can be finance. The problem can be that since COVID-19, X sectors have been losing staffs. They are traveling out. You know, depending on what you want to do. So the variables within the environment. Specifically, there might be individuals, also private, public organization, or government values or culture, etc., associated with the problem or challenge. So you must come up with a write-up on that. There is a gap in knowledge, challenge, or lacuna which the problem exemplifies or typifies. The implication of this is that some knowledge of the problem exists. So you must back it up with what? Literature. You can't say that we are having problems in the medical field since COVID-19. You understand? And you don't put citation there. You know, I tell people of how to cite. It's part of my training. How do you cite? And I tell them you must cite all definitions. Are you with me? So let me just explain to us now. Cite all definitions. So I show them practically, but that's at the research training, research class. Okay. Cite all definitions. Cite all statement of facts. Are you with me? Good. Now, paragraph. I have like 2 citations minimum on that paragraph. Those 3, they are very important. They are more than that, but let's just talk about those 3. That is citation and references. What are it is that you must cite? Another thing you must cite is you must cite all statistics. Any statistical statement that you make, cite. So of the problem continue. There must be fact revealing the problem. You know, I just said it. This fact must be up to date and accurate and referable. Show it to certain reliable sources, that's references. These sources could include authorities in relevant areas who have diagnosed and indicated the problem in their proposal. Sorry about that. There are evidences, therefore, arising from review of literatures on past researchers or authoritative sources that must or necessity justify the need for the research and again the choice of the topic. It means that when you are doing your proposal, your statement of problem is very important, extremely, extremely important. That's where you tell us the reason for the proposal. I must back it up with statistics or back it up with citations, references, with evidence. Research questions. Research question must therefore be specific based on the case study, specific, directly related to the title of the research, of course, derived from the problem of the study. Your research question should please, I'm begging you, let it relate to your problem. Research has linkages. Each paragraph when you're writing links to the next paragraph. This one links to the next paragraph. Each subtopic links to the next subtopic. There are linkages. Precise, unambiguous, and not lengthy. Exhaustive in the sense of covering vital issues of the study. Have linked to empirical studies I've told us. Linked to objectives. Okay. Objectives of the study is in specifying the objective, a researcher should take the following into consideration. Intended scope of the study, your case study. You cannot say that to examine the profitability of banks in Nigeria as part of your topic. Say banks in Nigeria. You don't think that that topic is too broad. Do you want to go to all the banks in Nigeria to get their data? If you are sticking to that kind of topic for your research, it means that you are going to use a secondary data for the research. Because you cannot go to all the banks in Nigeria. So you refuse to pick a case study. You refuse to streamline your topic. You must learn to streamline topic. So first thing is what? Is specifying objective research should take the following into consideration: intended scope of the study. Secondly, resource, financial and other available at this or a proposal. I've said it before. Already know your capacity, know what you want to do. Time frame for completing the study. Don't pick objectives that require qualitative and quantitative research methodology, and you have limited time because you are going to have a problem. Qualitative takes more time, both in the data collection and the analysis. Quantitative to take time too, because you have to code, you have to input, and a lot of things. I said you use Excel to collect your data. The next one is avoidance of over ambition and ambiguity by stating more than necessary objective that can be achieved. Unless if you know that your word count or your number of pages is very high, so you have to have more objective. Now, how do you write the search objective? You say to access. How do you write it? To access, to evaluate, to investigate, to analyze, to compare, to examine, to establish, to measure, to describe, to ascertain. You know, there are so many. To identify, to provide, to appraise. Yeah, I mean, so that's how you write objective. Now, hypothesis of the study. If you are doing quantitative, you are doing primary or secondary research, or you are in sciences, you are carrying out experiments, please, I beg you, you must have hypothesis test. You must have what? Hypothesis. Now, hypothesis is one major factor of research that will give you the opportunity to use some technical data analysis like correlation regression, logic regression, discriminant regression. You understand? Most of the time, if you don't have hypothesis, your analysis can just use only descriptive table graphs, line graph, histogram. You understand? And it should not fly for postgraduate research. It should not make sense for postgraduate research at all. You must have some techniques that is higher than descriptive analysis. And those techniques come under hypothesis testing. So you have two types. We have null hypothesis, we have alternative hypothesis. So they are supposed to be derived from the variables in the objective or the research topic itself. You must know how to put hypotheses together. It's very, very important. Now, significance of the study. This shows the advantage of your work, the justification for your work. You understand? How the study outcomes will contribute to the knowledge, the body of knowledge in a particular area of investigation. So this area is important, especially for master's and doctor philosophy research. At the PhD level of research, it's normally expected that the thesis embodies significant contributions to the knowledge. Are you with me? So it's very important you know how to deal with significance of the study. We will end up soon. All right. Qualities of a good literature review. I told us I will only deal with chapter 1 for us. Others that register for my training will be taking the rest. And then the practical side of everything. Qualities of a good research of good literature review. For a literature review to be considered good, it must incorporate the following. Discussion must relate to the background and problem. Statement under the investigation study, we have discussed issues around the problem. Statements much earlier in this chapter. It must identify and discuss the relevant concept of the study. It must follow the formats, all right, and issues around them, including how they contribute to explaining the problem statement. We must incorporate and discuss relevant theories against the background of the topic. I told us you must have theories in your work. In this respect, some theories may be emphasizing variables of economics and social natures, or even political and psychological nature, however applicable. It should incorporate previous related empirical studies within the context of their methodology, research design. You understand? So when we are dealing with literature review, quality of literature review has the following format: have conceptual review, conceptual framework, have empirical review, have theoretical review. All right, it's very important we note that. So as you are running off, I want to quickly tell you the essential skill for postgraduate research: critical thinking. You know, I told you there's a way to write. I'm not taking us tonight on how to write. That's not part of the training. You learn how to write. So critical thinking, analyze complex information, identify patterns, and make informed decisions. Research skills: design, conduct, report on a research project, time management, time